Hey, it's Greg Grunberg, Snap Wexley, and you are listening to 6th Scale Scavengers.
All right, Scavengers, welcome back to the 6th Scale Scavengers episode number 87. I'm your host, Bryan, joined as always with my good friends, Chris and TC. Guys, it's great to be back talking 6th Scale collecting, and hopefully got a great show. We've kind of had the topic that we want to talk about kind of on the back burner. We've alluded to it recently, but between INART and the Hot Toys Artisan line and pre-order processing and stuff, it's just the whole landscape has changed, Chris, like in a way that it feels like there's a tremor in the force or something. It's weird, and then obviously we the royal me, I have this problem with overanalyzing things, and where we get the episode title here, Analysis Paralysis, or better known as Paralysis by Overanalysis, and I am king of that. So, but Chris, I mean, there's tons of stuff happening in the hobby, and like always, we're one of the last to talk about it.
Oh yeah, I know. We bring up the rear, you know, in the 6th Scale community. It's just our style. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. Some big figure releases. You know, we're in the midst of the Ahsoka series, and just all kinds of other stuff going on.
We got you, Garrett, today. We're just already a bunch of people hanging out in the chat. Susan in there, the 1/6 Scale Man, Bob Dylan, and so TC. I know you're feeling a little under the weather tonight, but I'm glad Chris and I are glad you're willing to power through here.
Oh yeah. Don't feel too bad. I got COVID recently, second time, and it's in our house. So if you hear some coughing in the background, bear with us. But yeah, feeling better. It was kind of like a supercharged cold, so it kind of had some symptoms that would float between a flu and the cold, and ended up, you know, being the child of both, I guess. So COVID it was. Yeah, but glad to be here.
It definitely went through the Fontaine household recently, returning from our trip as well. So unfortunately, it seems like we travel now. It's something that you potentially could be running into. It's, I don't know. I don't really follow the news anymore, so apparently it's
crazy
ramping back up.
Like I still do all the things that you would do during COVID. You know, I barely like to touch doors. So I'll use my backside of my forearm to do that. Or I'll grab, if there's like a door handle that goes from 7 feet in the air down to the ground, I'll try and grab the bottom of it. And I'm that kind of guy. And it doesn't matter. It just, it happens. And, is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because I work in hospitals and I'm in the labs and everything. And today there's have to go through the ER area and people are hacking and stuff. And I'm just I need a full bodysuit to get through there.
Yeah, it's just is what it is. It's the thing is that I think the strain this time, I know some people get more serious cases, but it's not affecting people like it did originally. And so people think it's a cold. And if you have a cold, you don't stop your day. You don't stop your routine. So I think that's how it's spreading.
So guys, it's fall. Kids are back in school. The Fontaine household has been thrown into disarray. My son is now in junior high, middle school, and up until now, his bus has always come at 8:15 in the morning, Eastern time. His bus now comes at 6:38 a.m.
Whoa.
So it's a big It's just the way he's on a bus for almost an hour before he actually has to go to school. So yeah, if I look tired or sound tired, we're adjusting. So, anyway, so we got a good show on tap. Obviously, we're going to talk about our topic, show and tell collection update. Just quick shout out, thanks to all the scavengers who recently dropped some iTunes podcast reviews. We certainly appreciate it. That's one way to help us get the bandwidth back out there. As we've talked about before, we had to restart the audio feed over on iTunes and Google Play and Amazon, all those things when we kind of returned and lost all those old episodes. So certainly appreciate it. Funny story, just because I didn't figure out where I could put it in the show here, but Chris, we talk about all the time. We are a bunch of hacks, and this was just so embarrassing. I couldn't not talk about it, but anyway, so we talk about all the time. We have our own eBay stores, and I went to go change my eBay store name because I had been so into cards. I had my store named Q3 Cards, and I was like, all right, well, I'm going to get back to, if I'm going to be selling anything now because I don't have any cards left, it's going to be 6 scale. So I actually historically have always had 6 scale Scavengers as the eBay store name, as kind of the just whatever. Well, I decided I was going to change it at like 11:30 at night, like a week or two ago, and I was typing it in and I hit submit. Well, I looked at it afterwards. I spelled Scavengers wrong. I forgot the N. And now I can't even change it until the end of the month. I immediately emailed like eBay customer support and on their chat. They're like, yeah, we can see that it was an honest mistake, but we don't have any way of fixing that right now. You're just going to have to deal with it. I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, translation, you're low priority. Yeah. Get away.
Yep,
yeah,
basically.
Definitely.
Well, then I was like, well, what happens if somebody had hacked my account and changed the name? And then like they're like, well, anytime somebody tries to hack an account, we shut everything down and don't even let them change the name. So I'm just like, all right, yeah, I'm an idiot. But so if you happen to see it out there, that is me. It's not an imposter. I just can't spell.
Yeah. And the thing is, if they messed up, they'd have protocol that would allow them to change.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they didn't, because you messed up, they just wait till the end of the month, sir.
TC,
Basically.
What's your motto? Like doing anything after 10 o'clock or something is like,
I don't ever do any like ordering. I don't order anything after like late at night, because late at night you're on your phone. It's easy to say, oh yeah, that looks nice. Let's add that, or pre-order this, pre-order that, and then all of a sudden you can pre-order.
And,
yeah.
Like,
everything looks better. The figures, they look better after 10.
What did you used to have? Yeah, Chris, you used to have a term for that. Sipping something. Sip and shop.
Yeah, I mean, I might be sipping a little something right now, but I've learned my lesson, and yeah, I can't tell you how many figures I bought, late at night during our heyday, and they just show up. Figures are showing up left and right. I'm like, I literally have no idea what this is. I don't remember ordering it. And it's like some third-party figure, and I'm like, what was I thinking? Instantly lost money on them.
Gary's got it right. Everything looks better after 10.
The thing is, it actually, like, seriously, it actually does. It has helped. Like, I don't. Usually, if you want some, I strategize. I'm like, oh yeah, like, I can do this. I can display it this way. But then, if you just wait, there's my dog. The next morning, you can re-strategize.
Definitely.
Anyways, so that's kind of our little our intro here. Show and tell time. And if you're new to the show, this is where we'll talk about, again, we're the last people in the 6L community to talk about most of this stuff, but these are the things that are of interest to us. So we each got something here. Well, 2 of us have something, but so we're going to start out with Chris, and
I'm starting Halloween early. I got a rock. Yeah, yeah. I'm just throwing in the towel for this segment this time around because I don't know what was going on, but there was nothing that was like drawing my interest that kind of came out in the last couple weeks, or even previous to that. So I'll just let you guys go, and I'll riff off what you got.
More power to you, and I think that's important too. And ours, I mean, obviously, I love this Charlie Brown meme here, but there's not always going to be something. And, I know a lot of other podcasts and stuff have been talking about this recently about maybe we'll get into this later on in our topic, but kind of that, I don't really consider us YouTubers. That's the funny thing. I guess six scale YouTubers, I still feel like we're a podcast that just happens to broadcast live on YouTube, but the amount of influence and stuff that you can have and saying if you like or dislike anything. And to be honest, TC, I've always felt even though I feel like I'm a parody of myself with the things I buy and sell and, pre-order and cancel and all that other stuff. I feel like we've all been pretty honest and upfront. I think especially more so after we've gotten away from talking about every single release, where we're only talking about the things that we're kind of passionate about.
Yeah, I mean, it can happen sometimes. I mean, Hot Toys are really. I mean, there's always something to talk about, but it doesn't have to meet your fancy, so to speak.
Yeah.
Hot Toys they're really consistent, but in the comments, Knight of Ren, he says Doc Ock. Anyone? Well, I don't really care about Doc Ock, and frankly, not their best work on the sculpt, but still a cool figure. It's just that I just don't nothing that I would say would add anything.
Yeah.
To the discussion of Doc Ock.
Right. And I mean, if you want to hear Bryan and I's opinion on that, listen to or go watch Shane 1/6 Figure Focus's show from Monday.
The Hope Show.
Yeah, the Hope Show. Both of us made an appearance on there, and we talked at length about a lot of the newer releases on there.
I was not kind on that. That he's got a worse smile than I do when I try to smile. It was just this goofy
I mean, it is the actual tech that they use with the arms and stuff.
Yeah,
those are really
the
cool.
thing is the figure looks phenomenal. I figured it would have shelf presence and stuff. Now we're gonna your de facto show and tell, Chris, is Doc Ock now.
Great.
Yeah. Well, anyway, just like you said, TC said, it's got the shelf presence. Everything about it looks great. Ruined by a head sculpt. And it wasn't even that much different than the prototype, but even the prototype stunk. It's very maybe they took the criticism a little too far about having expressionless faces and stuff, but anytime they do that, or a character is smiling, or they're yelling like Rocket usually does, it just kind of limits what you can do with the display. And it certainly doesn't really work with a museum pose. I know a lot of collectors like myself try to do, but anyways, I digress.
But hey,
I mean, it's all good points.
I mean, Doc Ock, as soon as they come out with the Goblin, the Spider-Man shelf's gonna be great. So I mean, it's gonna have its place. It's gonna have its place. And not gonna make another one for a long time, probably. So yeah, for those getting it, hey,
it'll look great in the lineup. Rogues, Spider-Man Rogues Gallery. Kind of set up, having all those figures together. I mean, I said before on Shane's show, I can't wait to see somebody that has all of those villains and the Spider-Mans and comes up with crazy cool display, battling poses. Yeah, I think once Electro comes out, Green Goblin, and so on, it's going to look pretty good.
Yeah. So, and kind of right around the same time, the Kate Bishop head sculpt too is kind of. I think we'll dive into this a little bit more with our topic later on. I don't want to get too into the weeds here, but certainly a lot to talk about there. So, all right, TC, I'm going to kick it over to you with yours here. All right. Matthew McConaughey.
Okay, Yeah, so mine's the Mark IV. It's the quarter scale Mark IV, and I share this just because I know it was released in August, so it's like a month old at this point. But
It's still new to us.
yeah, I just think they did just an incredible job on this, and I'm not like the gantry. I'm not gonna try and go for the gantry, but I'll update my, I'll describe more in the collection update. But this could be a part of it. But the gantry, while awesome as well, just the real estate it takes up is quite extensive. But I mean, hey, I love the Mark IV. The Mark IV, design wise, not nearly as important of a suit as the Mark III, but design wise, I've always liked it to the Mark III. I just think it's more refined. You still get the same mechanical look as the Mark III. I just like the design better, and then you get the classic red and gold, so there's no silver. And you get the classic arc reactor. So, I think Hot Toys did this, nearly perfect. I know it's a plastic figure, but the knee joints and the elbow joints are die cast. And I mean, they don't release tons of these quarter scale Iron Man figures, and they space them out, pretty good. But I just think it's awesome. I used to have the die cast Mark IV, so maybe one day if they do a 2.0 of that, I may go for it. But man, just and all that stuff they do with extra real estate because it's a bigger figure, like they build in all the missiles into the forearms and I think I think even the shoulders a bit. I'm not sure on that, but just super cool. You can remove the bicep piece to look at the inner workings, and man, just awesome job. And yes, of course, everyone needs a quarter scale donut. It's a great accessory. But and I think this has a USB port, so you can hook up those instead of using batteries for the gantry if you do get the gantry. I think the cool thing too is I didn't really know this until recently that they released the gantry separately. So if you ever want to add it later, you can do that. You don't have to feel like you add the entire, you have to buy the entire piece as one, because it is very expensive when you buy the gantry and Iron Man. Although if you do go to our favorite store, Toys Wonderland, you can get this gantry set and the Iron Man Mark IV for like $600, and then the shipping's $200, so it's $800. Just saying, not recommending. Just saying, it's out there.
Let's stay away from any controversy. We almost toyed with, pun intended, we almost toyed with having some sort of Wonderland in our title, but thought better of it. So.
Yeah, don't buy from there, but it is out there. Although I pre-ordered from Pop Culture in Australia, because their pricing is good too. It's just, they have good pricing for pre-orders.
Yeah, I absolutely love the Mark IV design. That's one of the Iron Man figures that really hurt, when I sold it. But it's tough having a ton of Iron Man figures.
Look what you did to the chat, Gare. Caleb's mentioned it.
Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah.
We need some spice.
Down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. No, we're going to stay away from controversy. We're not going to call out another podcast like somebody did recently to us. Not even going to mention the name at all, but Chris might have the shirt on. We're fighting now. We're fighting.
But anyway, so I mean, just the quarter scale, like TC said, just the real estate that a figure like that can take up, and and it's like having multiple quarter scales. If that's your theme, if that's what you're, totally into, like
Cletus in the house.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
Wow, that's a blast from the past.
Yeah, man. I sold them my Mark IV.
Graham's in the house. I actually got a couple of the Jedi Knight ones. Sorry, I got TC. Just one quick sec.
Things I've had a couple of these quarter scales over the years, and I know the paint on this one it seems it's more metallic than the Mark III. Also, this has always bothered me, and it is my pet peeve when it comes to certain Iron Man figures. It's the face mask, the faceplate on the Mark III quarter scale and the first, I guess 1 or 2.0, the first diecast Mark III, where the faceplate meets the top of the mask. It's not right. Like the design of the red to the gold. I don't know what that is. That like Widow's Peak piece that comes down. It's just flat out wrong. Like I don't get it. But they finally fixed it on the diecast Mark III that they're releasing soon. Yeah. It's more narrow and it's not as wide, and it just has a more narrow profile. And yeah, if you have to go look at the movie and then double check like the figure versus the quarter scale and the MMS 256. But they've nailed it on the Mark IV, and to me that kind of makes the figure. I don't know. Maybe people don't notice that, and it wouldn't surprise me because it's kind of minor in the grand scheme. But to me, it makes the look of the figure. The mask is, crucial to the whole concept of the design. So I know, I just think that they nailed the Mark IV and just quality all around.
Quick shout out to two of the Jedi Knights watch, Graham in the house and Scavenger alum D'Lo also. So thanks for stopping by, guys. Appreciate it. Let's see. I guess I'm up now with mine. So keeping on my recent theme of INART, holy smokes. We talked about this on the Hope Show with Shane on One Six Figure Focus earlier in the week, Chris, but I just cannot believe how good this figure turned out. And also this kind of prompted our topic for later. And when I mentioned on Shane's show too, when we were talking with Lael as well, it's just like, I feel like we're really going to get to this point now where these companies are going to be competing for our dollars, and instead of like trying to complain through social media and say like what's wrong, or there's no pants print on this, or whatever the thing is that we need to complain about, just vote with your dollars. I mean, that's the thing, is there's so many more options out now, and there's so many more options than there ever was. Just, I cannot believe this looks like a movie still. I mean, guys, and just the detail. And we talked on Monday, Chris, like if this, I don't mind paying more for this. And I will be more than willing to pay the price of 2 Hot Toys to get something like this on my shelf. Because they're not mailing it in here within our, I don't think any of us are horror fans at all with the Pennywise. The Pennywise figure also just released, and that completely puts the Hot Toys one to shame.
Yeah.
So I'm keeping score here. Joker, Gandalf, Pennywise. What company starts out and goes 3 for 3? They're going to have a misfire at some point, but I am completely more convinced that I'm glad that I had decided a couple months ago to get this. 2 months ago, basically. Yeah. But I have a lot of confidence here. And then hopefully we all win, because then Hot Toys sees this and sees that people would rather pay for this higher quality, less quantity. Clearly just show all the details. Don't cut corners. I think I'll save some of my thoughts for our topic later, because I definitely have more to kind of extrapolate on this. But I just cannot. I'm speechless. I don't even know what else to say. This just looks so realistic.
I think they went out of their way not to use pleather. Like his bag is made out of rope, and then his satchel, and then his waistband is rope, and I don't think there's any pleather. It's like a synthetic, like plastic rubber for some pieces, but I don't think there's any pleather on this, and that's awesome, because I don't know. That's just one of the cheapest things you can do, I feel. Putting that on a figure. We're all used to it. It's pretty much on every Star Wars figure, whether it's the boots or the belt or the gun holster. But the fact that they didn't do that for this, man, that's awesome.
I mean, just look at all these accessories that you're getting with it here. So I think one of the other criticisms is, well, INART's not releasing figures. Well, within the last 2 weeks, we've gotten 2 figures. Now they're up to 3, and some of these other ones are probably coming soon. I mean, I would imagine the Batman figure, the Bruce Wayne, will probably be released by the end of the month. So I guess that what I've seen from looking at some of the, YouTubers is that INART got out some of these early to some reviewers so they can see it. I actually just saw my Instagram feed. Will Foxification just got his in to review. I know Big Brita just got his and reviewed it. Fantastic job. Go check out his review. And you're seeing a lot of photos showing up on Instagram now. For whatever reason, because I'm technology challenged, I couldn't figure out a way to get some of those photos from Instagram in this manner. So these are all from the official INART Facebook page here. But some people have taken some phenomenal poses, especially like some of like the, like Caleb just said, is like the "You Shall Not Pass." There's just so many options here, so many different looks. Wow, I'm speechless.
Yeah, I mean, the layering and just the way the fabric is falling on the cloak and, the inner robes and everything. And
the rooted hair. We haven't taled about that.
Yeah,
the beard, the rooted hair.
It's just,
Yeah, I mean, you can tell the robes, like, I don't know, that they're very thin, obviously, but that's what allows it to get that look. Like with the Asmus crown version, it looks good, but the robe is it's too thick, so it doesn't drape nearly as well. This looks like Gandalf just shrunken down into, mini form, and there's just so much you can do with it. I mean, you got both staffs. Credit to Collecting Weekly for giving us that. They gave us the, I guess we were going to get the original staff, but they gave us the one that when does he make the transfer? I should know this. Is it in Moria?
I think so, because he has his pipe in the staff.
Regardless of whenever that happens, we get both, and then all these other accessories is just so cool, and down to the fireworks to his pipe, and the pipe's made of die cast, and the sword is die cast, according to Joao. So, man, just top notch all around, and the hat is fabric, and that's probably really difficult to get it to lay like that, but you can just tell they put a lot of work into it. And yeah, they've only released 3 figures now, but there's going to be that lead time. If they go months between an announcement, you're going to have months between a release. And then the first one obviously going to take a year. So I don't really, it is what it is. It's just they're startup, but they're really putting their best foot forward.
And I hope they don't, Chris, go to that Hot Toys, because I think what ends up happening, and again, I have so many thoughts for later on, Chris, is like, I feel like they just have to keep keeping up with themselves, because they're like putting out all these subpar figures and stuff. Like, I know like everyone's talking about One Piece now. I don't know anything about it, so I'm not going to pretend to speak like I know. But what I've also seen is not a lot of people talking about those figures, but then anybody that is like, they look completely rushed. They're there to be there. And it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, do I want somebody's half effort, or do I want somebody's 150% effort, and they may not release a lot, but you get something like this and it's on your shelf and you're proud of it? And I don't know, like I'm more going this way. I kind of mentioned it a little bit too on the Hope Show this week, but this is kind of changing. This figure actually is really changing how I'm looking about collecting, and it feels kind of maybe you can't even think of the word I'm looking for here, but I speechless.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I hope that like they do what you're saying. They don't need Star Wars. They don't need Marvel. They don't even a little bit of DC. You could literally just go deep into the Fellowship, do all the characters. People will buy them. You can see, I think they said that there were 8,000 of these Gandalf figures that they made to order. People will buy them. And just like, probably, I'm sure they have, decent sales with Aragorn, Legolas potentially next. I don't know. Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings alone, I feel, can sustain a company. If you do them right, the figures right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. with INART and whatever figures come next.
I don't know. I keep jumping ahead to our topic here too, and I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat, like Caleb's mentioning, like Cad Bane was a great figure. Well, for every Cad Bane, there's like several others where you can clearly just tell they just mailed it in, and they're still charging, at least up front, a premium for that. When you go to sell it on the secondary market, you're probably going to get less than retail. I think
awesome. But
yeah, I know. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, even though Hot Toys is trying to reel in their pre-orders so they're not making as much, well, they're still making products that aren't up to their perceived standards, I guess is the way I'm trying to put it. And I feel like that's overall hurting them too, because then those sit there, they don't sell. And they're having to take research and development time to do those. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, things are changing for sure, and we'll get into it later. But I mean, I guess we can transition to
let's
my pickups, because I'm going to talk about it kind of the same, go along the same lines. But like I pre-ordered the Mark IV, the quarter scale, and then I pre-ordered the Mark VI, the diecast. Well, I did that both those from Pop Culture, but the Mark VI is waitlisted. There's the regular one, not the gantry, the set, but the regular one's waitlisted on Sideshow. And the Mark IV is waitlisted. And I was looking at, trying to look at, what do I want to do with Iron Man, because Iron Man, Hot Toys has always overproduced them. But now you've got the Mark IV quarter scale waitlisted, the Mark VI waitlisted, and the Mark III is waitlisted. And the Mark III is not cheap. The Mark III is a $450 figure. $450.
Man,
and it's like one of the most expensive Iron Man ever. Maybe it is the most expensive Iron Man ever
for 6 scale.
For 6 scale, yeah. So $450. Not only is it exclusive waitlisted, the regular one is waitlisted, and then they're available at different sites across the U.S. and you can still get them overseas. But the fact that they're waitlisted at Sideshow, Iron Man never goes waitlisted. This is beyond, like, you've got your Luke Skywalker that they never waitlist. You never see Iron Man waitlisted because they know they'll sell. So they always traditionally make, tens of thousands, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But now I'm kind of like on a, I'm still waiting on the Mark III, but I'm just like, it's like almost a squeeze has been put on me, because I do want that figure, because they made the fixes that I thought they should have made, and it's really well done. But the price on that, now granted, it's cheaper than INART, but it's a different product. So it's apples and oranges. I don't know. It's we'll see. They're definitely making changes for sure, though, and I think for the better.
Time to change in.
Yeah, those are my pickups.
Speaking
not
about
pickups,
Dylan.
but orders.
All right. I'm going to go next just because I always go last. No additions. I did do some, actually, speaking of Iron Man. So had a heart-to-heart with my boss. And I got his approval. Yeah. I got his approval to let some of the Iron Man loose figures that I had go. So these would be, we talk about kind of, you take like the bottom of your collection and you kind of like rotate that out. Well, some of these Iron Man figures are some of the oldest ones that they've got. So Iron Man Mark II, 3, 42, which is from Iron Man 3, and then 45, which was the Sokovia Iron Man suit that he had in Age of Ultron. Sold those all on eBay. Now, I mentioned it before that I didn't have the boxes anymore. I sold them loose. Obviously, didn't sell for anywhere near what I originally paid for them, and especially not having anything with them. But they did marginally well. So what that did is it's going to free up some space on my shelf, and obviously money back in the collecting budget. So again, like I mentioned with like this Gandalf figure, it's really kind of make me think, kind of honing in things just a little bit more. So couple other figures that I did sell. So I never actually put the Flash from Justice League that I got from Hidalgo on display. I sold that. That was never displayed, so that did all right. And then I actually decided that I didn't need the Back to the Future 3 figures. I didn't end up getting in dock yet, so I just obviously just ended that relationship. But then I had Marty. I didn't even open it. Didn't even crack the seal. So I sold that as well. So I'm going to just have Doc and Marty from Back to the Future 1 on display with my DeLorean. And I'll probably use the other space on the other side of that Mancha case to have like my Jack Sparrow and a couple other things there. So I don't know. It's just like I think, again, I keep getting into like our topic later, but it's like the idea of having certain things because you want to have them on your shelf because they represent a movie that you really love or a franchise. But Hot Toys keeps putting out these subpar items, and I'm just kind of sick of it. That's the best way I can put it. So I'm just going to move on. I might not have everything I love on display, but I want to have the best versions of everything that I can have. And I guess Chris TCI, I'm just done settling.
Hey, I mean,
Nothing wrong with that.
yeah, tastes change. So
Yeah.
the thing is, now more than ever, you've got more options. You're not, Hot Toys is great. I love a lot of the stuff they make, but you're not beholden to what Hot Toys makes.
Right. This
You
is
don't need a single Hot Toys figure to have a
4 years
6-scale
ago.
collection. Yeah, it's not the same. Enter Bay was the closest competitor to Hot Toys 4 years ago. Now, I mean, yeah, there's 3-0, there's all these other companies, but really, the game changer is INART. And around the corner, there's rumors, constantly about J&D.
Yeah.
So I don't know what kind of licenses they have, but if you want a premium figure, whether it's worth it, that's up for judgment, and we'll see what they make. But in terms of options, you've got them now, and I'm happy for people because the products that are coming out, they're next level.
I just hope J&D doesn't make another Joker figure.
Oh, they probably will.
We'll see.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So move on to Chris here, and
I don't have too many pictures, but yeah. So it's not really a purchase, but I finally set up all my Harley figures on display and disregard the insulation and stuff in the picture in the basement, unfinished basement and all. But had fun doing this. I had some free time this week, and actually 2 of these figures I had never broken the seal on the art box.
Whoa.
Yeah, like the Dancer Harley I've probably had for 3 years at this point. And
the Letty warehouse.
I know. I never opened it. But those ones have a slip cover, so you could see the figure. Yeah. So, and then I never opened the Harley from Birds of Prey with the gold jumpsuit on, and the roller skates. Yeah, I mean, yeah, right. Definitely not wife approved. Yeah. I know, right?
What's that middle Harley? The
one sitting down?
Suicide Squad? Okay.
Yeah, that's Prisoner Harley, and I got
No, there's to her right, our left. She's holding the mallet. Which one is?
Oh, yeah. The main Suicide Squad one with the.
That's like a Grail, right? Kind of.
Oh yeah. It still commands big money. So that one's been set up, and then I had the Birds of Prey one with her shotgun and her pal Bruce there. But it was fun. I mean, I had gotten that itch to buy something, and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I've got figures that I've never even opened before. Like, let's just spend some time and set these things up, and kind of get that itch, scratched. And yeah, it's fun. I'm glad to have these out. I can appreciate them. My wife doesn't appreciate them, but
Jeez, no surprise there.
especially with Dancer Harley, when you walk down the stairs and come around the corner and you look up, it's like right there. So,
Well, the thing is, with Dancer Harley, you're lucky, but that you bought that when it come out a couple years ago. Came out a couple years ago.
Came out like 2017,
Right,
2018.
So you got it for like $200. Now it would be labeled Artisan. And
Yeah,
it'd be
right.
$475.
I mean, all of, like, not the Birds of Prey ones, but the 3 from Suicide Squad, I mean, they still command big bucks. I got the Prisoner Harley sealed for $200 shipped. I got the Dancer one. I think I paid $230 shipped for it. And the other Harley, it was used. It was a special edition one, and I got it. I think I paid like $320 for it, which is, even today's standards, it's good. I did have to buy another body to get legs that didn't have damage to the fishnets, but I'm using that body for a custom that I'm working on. So, but anyway.
Listen to Letty talk about all this hair and fishnets, and
I know, right? I do have to futz with her Dancer Harley's hair, but I can't get caught by the wife again. So
Well, these are like these are Barbies actually.
yeah, I mean
Harley's Barbies. It's a difference.
Yeah, it's
like Gare's saying, he loves the Barbie collection here.
I know. I don't. Hot Toys missed the mark with pairing up with Mattel and doing Barbie. So Mattel should have done their own like crazy high end, Barbie. So.
So yeah, I know you got a couple other things going on.
Yeah, a couple
here,
other
Chris,
things, just quick. So I backed the Ghost. That's why I don't really have too many other collection updates, because that payment hit last night after the Ghost fully funded.
Yeah, talk about that for a second, Chris, because like we were talking, the three of us were talking about this, last night or this morning, and it just completely baffled me. You have to wait. You pay up front, you have to wait an entire year.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the that whole strategy with the crowdfunding basically allows, I mean, Hasbro's worth billions of dollars. The fact that they have to do it that way is kind of ridiculous. But yeah, they once the project timer ends, then all the payments. It takes all the payments, and then we'll probably, hopefully it doesn't take a year, but and it went over 21,000 of them were ordered, and
Wow.
2 days before it wasn't even it had just hit 14,000. It just went bananas the last 24 hours or so.
Hey, well, that was a no spoilers, but a timely episode.
I know, right?
In Ahsoka, because didn't it make an appearance?
Maybe. But
they planned it that way.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. I love this. I'm not going to go crazy with all like the vintage collection because I really cut back on those figures buying them, but definitely want to have a really nice Ghost, Rebels, Ahsoka kind of setup. Yeah.
The comment, Knight of Ren from Caleb. He said BBTS ordered 15.
Yeah.
So that's one way. If you don't want to buy the whole thing up front, you can just wait for BBTS,
Right.
pay premium, but pay a lower deposit.
Yep. Yeah. You might. I don't know how they'll handle shipping too, but if you put it in your pile of loot, you might be able to make out pretty good there.
$4.
I know, right? And
They're not good at a lot of things, but they're good at some things.
Don't pre-order from there, man. It takes like 8 months to a year after everybody else gets it. And And then just one other thing, I mentioned that the Harley custom that I'm working on, I finally, I had previously bought an outfit for it and nothing fit. So I sold all that and I ordered the dress that she wears in Suicide Squad 2, the red dress, and her matching boots. It's a seller on Etsy, Elite Decor Boutique, and she actually makes a full figure and head sculpt and everything. But I messaged her directly and said, "Hey, would you sell me just the outfit, because I've already got a Hot Toys body and head sculpt, because I have another Dancer Harley head sculpt." So I'm going to work on that. But with those customs, I'd like to talk about them in a future episode. But yeah, I mean, she's like 4 to 6 weeks because she makes it, on per order.
It's
Crazy.
tough to find a 6-scale sewing machine.
No, I mean, irons, that's pretty easy, but
That thread.
the thread.
I think you need to probably call in some INART artists to help with that.
Definitely. I know. I want to get into that discussion down the road and talk about some of the artistry that goes into these, the making of these figures and
like the head sculpt. Like the most amazing figures you see are the people that do their own. Yeah, I will fully support somebody doing stuff like that. But when they get into like wanting to do third-party figures and, do it without licensing and stuff. And I've never been a big fan of third-party figures. I just never will. Actually, my son asked me about a week or two ago, because he was looking at some third-party like Transformer stuff. And yeah, he kind of opened the floodgates when he asked me my opinions on those. So I don't think he's going to be looking at them anymore.
No, don't you dare.
I was trying to find the
Well,
ghost on. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I kind of explained, like why, people do stuff like that and they don't end up having to pay the licensing fees and stuff. And it's not fair to the people that own the IPs. And yeah, anyways, go ahead, TC.
I was just saying, I was trying to find the ghost. I can't find it on Big Bad. I'm probably not typing in the right keyword, but in my search, I found the Black Panther. They have 2 copies left at $2.99, and 3 copies of Cad Bane, the regular version, not the deluxe with Toto, but the regular. So looks like they have some straggling stock that you might be able to snag.
That Cad Bane, Caleb saying, possible figure of the year. Yeah, that's one that's, I mean, for sheer cool factor, like it's, one that would look great on the shelf and everything, but I couldn't try, add.
Dude, I was like, I know, I'm in the same spot. I was thinking like, well, if you get Cobb Vanth and you have one figure across the room and then the other one across the other side of the room, and they're in a duel, that would be a pretty cool display.
Yeah, Cad walking in from like 3 miles away. You're just standing there waiting for him to come in. Basically.
But yeah, I'm just gonna end up skipping it because it's $600 between 2 of them, and
yeah, admire from afar. I mean, some of the Caleb
admire
with his
from afar.
photography, and all the other artists, like definitely awesome figure, and love looking at the pictures that people are taking.
All right. Well, that's all of our collection updates. Let's talk about our topic. And I feel like I've already hinted and given my thoughts about this, but so guys, there's a lot of options, and we've been doing this a long time, 5 years off and on, but still 5 years solid. And we've kind of seen how the hobby's really shifted from just Hot Toys, and they went from not being super popular to I think TC has kind of affectionately named it like the Infinity War era for Hot Toys, where they just completely mass produced everything to the point of just it ended up devaluing everything because they missed the mark on the popularity or how many people were actually buying their figures. To now there's multiple companies out there that are legitimate, that have licenses for real and not third party, that there's just so many more options. The prices are going up. The certain companies are aligned with some of the different IP properties out there and stuff. We've seen the rise of INART and what that's doing. We talked about it a couple episodes ago with the Artisan line from Hot Toys with Joker and Anakin. What other figures are they going to do in that line? Or what other ones are they going to use the dirty word of, reissue? Pre-orders are a lot different now. Now, Chris, I know you've got the shirt on. We became a parody of ourselves with, with the Dopo, with the day one pre-order, but like, that's not even a thing anymore, really. I mean, if you really, truly love a figure and you want it, just go for it. But yeah, to kind of call us out over that about it at this point, now that's kind of.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's like, there's certain instances where, we see it's necessary because, if you really want an artisan figure and you want to try to get in on the queue or, whatever, that's, kind of what you have to do to get the figure at the, retail price. We all know that all these figures are available in some capacity somewhere. It's just how much more than retail are you willing to pay for it? For something like Gandalf, I mean,
market's not known. Like, you don't know, just because it's sold out doesn't mean that it's going to then, immediately be worth 100 plus of retail.
Right, because it's
so expensive.
It's so expensive. I mean, they might have hit it on the nose as far as how many they produced, and there's not there might be maybe 10-15% people on top of that would buy it if they could have at retail, or are willing to pay above market. But maybe there isn't that many people that would be willing to pay, significantly above, the retail price. So yeah, I mean,
I've heard a lot of people talking about the the pricing on the INART figures and how much more expensive they are. That's all relative, really, too, because then a lot of that some same people will have no problem going out and getting like 2 or 3 new Hot Toys. Yeah. Well, are they all going to be top quality? Maybe, maybe not. Could you sacrifice those 2 or 3 for one, potentially really good one? And I think at this point, too, I mentioned it when I was talking about Gandalf earlier, TC, is the fact that INART did not have a track record. They are writing the story literally as we speak. Joker was up first. It took them forever to get it out. All the different batches came out. And what was the narrative about INART is, are they legit? Are they going to be one of these other companies that, they do 1 or 2 figures and they go belly up? What have they done? They've now upped the game. I would argue the Gandalf and the Pennywise almost are potentially even better than like the Joker. And by doing batches, they can course correct anything that comes up in the earlier ones, to make sure if there's any, issues or anything. Like, instead of just releasing everything all at once, doing these different waves or whatnot, I think actually can help with, with quality. And obviously, yes, does it stink to get one of the first batches and you run into an issue that people later on, wouldn't have? Like, I think some of like the later Jokers ended up being styled a little bit better than, some of the other ones. So no company is ever going to be at fault. And I'm not trying to turn into like an INART, fanboy here, even though it sounds like it. But, I guess for me, it's just like I'm looking at what somebody can do like INART. And I know we don't really, swear on this show, but if Hot Toys can continue to like half-ass things, I don't want to spend my money there. I'm going to vote with my wallet. I'll sit here on our show and complain about Hot Toys with some of the figures and what they're doing. Am I going to go on to like their Facebook page and complain about it or whatever? No, I'll vote with my dollars. I'll vote with my wallet, and I'll spend it where I see fit.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the paying, that whole strategy is, I think, the most effective. I mean, definitely some of the things with like INART, Asmus, some of these smaller companies, they can be a little bit more influenced during the prototype pre-order phase to try to listen to fans and tweak things, whatever it may be, an accessory, their clothing, something along those lines. I think that's great because it takes a lot for Hot Toys to even like consider changing something. I mean, what was that? The Tony Stark head sculpt a few years ago. That whole debacle.
the Mark 85 there.
Yeah. I mean, that was just, that was a huge thing. But other than that, I mean, there's just not a ton of adjustment on their part. I think those types of things are definitely going to help these smaller companies. Will those scenarios continue as they do more figures? Time will tell. But I think just the fact that we have these other companies up in their game, it causes Hot Toys to make decisions like coming up with an Artisan line. And hopefully Hot Toys continues to add more figures to that line. I mean, I missed out on, I wasn't interested in the Joker. I was interested in the Anakin. I didn't get it. Like, I'm bummed out, but I'm not like heartbroken. So, I think I accepted the fact that I probably wouldn't get it. And I think I'm going to have that kind of mindset going forward with these figures. Like, I'll try to get the ones that I want. If I don't get them, initially, oh well. When they finally get released, if I truly want it, it came out great. Like, I have to be willing to pay up whatever the markup is for those types of figures, because it might be worth it, for my collection or for somebody's collection, to save up to get one of those figures, and you just have the one figure instead of 5 figures, or whatever.
Yeah, I think with those ones, I can talk about it like in a more general terms, but for those specific figures, like with the Artisan Anakin, they may not be numbered. And you may not know exactly if the 3,000 is the true number, but you do pretty much know for a very long time they're not going to be reissuing that exact Artisan figure. And I think that's an important thing when you decide, well, should I pony up for this figure or not? Because people got burned. I got burned in the past. But you buy at a premium because that's what the market says, and the Hot Toys comes out with a direct reissue. Well, I think with the Artisan, I think that's changing. I mean, we'll see. They can always make Darkseid Anakin in different variants, but in terms of a direct reissue, that hopefully won't happen. But I think just in general, just having options and understanding, okay, I got one company doing Lord of the Rings. I got another one doing Star Wars. Let's see what J&D brings. I got another one doing Harry Potter. I think I just got to step back and just see how things play out. Mm-hmm. And occasionally place a pre-order on 100%, on a figure that I 100% want, like Gandalf or Aragorn. So those two. And then from there, just kind of see what, all these companies are going to bring to the table, because I think, they don't want to lose to the other companies. There's these guys. It's not just the fact that Hot Toys wants to survive. Hot Toys wants to stamp its authority as the best figure company out there, probably. Howard has been doing this for decades now. he's got pride.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to see Hot Toys continue to amp it up with some of these artisan releases, and I think because of that, I'm just kind of stepping back a little bit and just assessing and placing, the occasional order on things I definitely want. But I think it's all good except for the fact that, when you do increase quality, you do increase costs. So that is negative. But you can't complain about lack of quality, and then when they do improve it definitively, then complain about costs. Because you can't have your cake and eat it too. Something's got to give.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I alluded to it earlier too, and like obviously Hot Toys is now up over like 800 figures probably combined when you figure the the television series, the movie masterpiece, the video game, the quarter scale, all these different things that they've done. If you kind of go back through and think about there's so many bad ones, like for what they are, what you think that they should be. I don't know, if I was Howard, I might try to do a better job on less than keep pumping out what they do. And I, for one too, like we used to have our old website, and I used to track every single release that came out for Hot Toys. Like when it was announced and when it was released and the original retail price and all this other stuff, like, and it was always like, oh, well, the Hot Toys hasn't released anything in a while. I think we need to change that narrative too, about maybe we talk about the last time Hot Toys put out something good versus like, oh, it's been a slow month for Hot Toys. They've only put out like 3 figures. Even if they put out 3 figures, are they truly like the ones that get people talking, like Cad Bane, or some of these other ones? Or are they like the recent Boba Fett that came out and like nobody cares? Like they've oversaturated the market with Boba Fett figures. If they had just done one Boba Fett figure, maybe really, really good, and didn't, cut corners about like even, everyone like the bird poop Boba Fett with, what they kind of affectionately have called that one. I love that scene. That's one of my favorite Star Wars action scenes that they've done in recent time. But like some of the material choices and stuff on that, like even like the draping of like his, his like Sand People tunic there, the Tusken Raider stuff, it feels like paper thin. It's just like the quality is just, there's a reason why there's a whole lot of these that are just sitting on Sideshow, and they're having to do like these daily like 25% off specials, because like why on earth are you going to go, even for some of these figures that are just sitting on Sideshow right now, why would you just go buy one right now when one of the figures is sitting there potentially within the next week or two is going to be one of the ones that they're going to offer for 25% off? You're better off, like TC said, just waiting on that stuff. And then if you're presented with a deal, then potentially, doing there. And Caleb said the paper sashing on his belt. That's what I was trying to describe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Hot Toys, I think they realize that everyone realizes that they need to course correct. So that's what they've done.
Yeah.
But,
I just think, there's still going to be a lot of these figures that are going to be lingering for a long time.
What's up with the Indiana Jones figure, by the way, Chris? Like, I know that there was
coming stateside.
I don't think it's going to happen.
It ain't happening.
I know that there's that
licensing.
There's something with that bag or something I had seen, but
I mean, just don't have the bag. Like,
oh, I know.
I think that's going to be one of those ones that's, becomes a myth down the line. That's where's my Indiana Jones? Like,
you can pre-order it
Cyborg
on a couple of Hong Kong sites, but nowhere else.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Susan just mentioned it here too, Chris. Like they're starting to put everything on wait list now. Is that like manufacturing demand? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's self-imposed, like limits on how many figures that they're going to order. I kind of feel like it is. I don't know if that strategy is working. but it definitely, when it says low stock, it seems, these different figures. There's, the Collecting Weekly Patreon chat was posting, there's a whole bunch of figures that were low stock.
Okay.
Episode 2, Anakin, I think it was Kang, which I completely forgot was a figure that they were going to make.
Well, kind of makes sense. If you're going to change your model a little bit, like just say they make some more of these artisan figures. Well, they're going to devote more resources to that. Well, you got to put out your other figures that you've already put out for order, that you've already made for order. So you make less of them, get through them, start pumping them out. And then over time,
just
we might see how
roll out this strategy.
And then over time, you might see more of the higher end stuff. I don't know. We will see.
Bryan, you've got some stuff on pre-order, right? You've got some of the...
I do,
then,
like some of the Batman stuff, like I had just done it just to make sure that I, had it, and most of it I've only got one thing on Sideshow planned, and it's the 89 Batmobile, just because I didn't have it at the time. I think he does now, but everything else was through Ray at Underground Figures, and I just, being a small retailer where he's got prices that are insanely hard to beat, that's a different type of pre-order than going through like Sideshow, I feel, because if you've got a smaller retailer, and I guess we didn't really talk about that, when you have a smaller retailer, they're only going to get allocated a certain amount, and if I know that he can get me a good deal, that's where it makes sense to pre-order. So there's a caveat or an asterisk there. Going through somewhere where you have to put down an NRD, that's a little bit of a different conversation.
Yeah, I don't have. I think I only have 2 figures on pre-order right now. One was that 6 scale Mondo Harley Quinn exclusive, which I could only get the exclusive through Mondo direct, and it sold out in like 24 hours. So I felt like I needed to, dopo that one. But then the other one, I've got Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness on pre-order with Ray, and exactly what you're saying. Sideshow was waitlisted, and all the other sites that had it up, there was going to be an NRD for it. So at least with Ray, I can, message him and be like, hey, can you put, he still had it for pre-order, and it just made sense to go that route. There was some other like Pop Culture had it, but again, it was, I was going to have to put some money down.
Yeah, you got to put money down at Pop Culture.
Yeah.
Now, if something happens, you can get it back, but you got to put down like $80, $90. Yeah.
So, but for me, pre-ordering, I've definitely taken a back seat. I'm just like, kind of like TC, like you were saying, like sitting back and like seeing what happens, but like in a bigger, broader sense. There's definitely figures out there that I'm interested in, but I kind of want to just see, like, I don't feel like I need to have them on pre-order. Like, I'm just going to see what happens when they release and kind of play the long game. Because, I don't really have a finished basement. I've got, my stuff on display here. So it's not like I definitely need to buy the figures immediately upon release. So, I don't know. Definitely different from before, like the heyday. Like, I don't know, like 30 pre-orders and, just like, that's just unhealthy in my opinion. And I thought on the Hope Show, Leal, 1/6 scale man, he said that he nixed like 20 pre-orders, and just realized.
He's a man after my own heart.
Oh yeah. Like he realized, like, that's crazy. I just need to, there's so many other things coming that it's like, I don't need to order all those.
Yeah. Like even some of the stuff I've got on order with Ray, like I pretty sure I won't be keeping all of those, but I'll just wait till I get it in hand. Either sit on it for a while and then sell it, or maybe even just sell it immediately. Like I don't want to cancel on anything with him at this point. Even if I did change, because I'm just really at that point now too, where I think I've said it a few times, like TC, just like seeing the Gandalf figure. I don't feel like it's like life altering or whatever you want to call that, but I feel like even what I thought I had planned on doing, like that just kind of changed the game even for me. So, and I mean, we've been doing this for 5 years now. Even now the landscape is constantly changing.
Well, the thing is, like, INART's not just going to stop utilizing its Lord of the Rings license. Like, you know what's coming next. In 2 months, Legolas will be around, or 3 months. By the end of the year, Legolas' pre-order probably be announced. And after Legolas,
Gimli, maybe?
Boromir, Gimli. Then Frodo, Merry, Pippin, Sam
Boromir,
maybe Lord Elrond, Gandalf the White. Like, this is gonna be
my first one.
the lady. Yeah, it's good. It's going to be multiple years. So, like, understanding that and realizing that's what it could be, that has to influence how I order Hot Toys. Because if it doesn't, my budget, I can't just expand it infinitely.
Right.
So I have to understand that, okay, well, I may not be able to get Cad Bane. Cad Bane may be number one for a lot of Star Wars fans. Well, it's not quite my number one, even though I love the figure. Like, it's just awesome. There's nothing bad about it. People say the weathering, but I really don't care. But the actual figure itself is awesome. Same with, Mando Luke. That's just another one. I think that's awesome. But I have a couple Lukes, so I'm moving on.
I think I'm skipping that one.
Yeah, it's hard. But the thing is if you know what's going to come, and then you also know that the prices are not $200, you just have to be aware, and that's how I'm kind of taking it, and I'm cool with it because I think, to be in it for the long haul, you kind of do have to assess where things are going, and there's going to be another player. J&D will be around making 1/6 scale figures in the next 6 months. It's happening.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome to see their strategy and their approach.
I think the one other thing, Chris, that I'm going to try to do is, like, I think TC just laid it out there perfectly with, like, it's kind of scary to think of, like, maybe there's like a 10-year plan that if you really love like something like Lord of the Rings and like that's could be what they do if INART's around for 10 years, that's what you might be signing up for. And are they going to do 1 to 2 per year? Probably not. But I don't know. At least for me, I feel like with budgeting wise, like I'd rather, take 3 months of, budgeting to go towards something like what they're producing versus getting like 3 so Hot Toys. And I really, my final kind of like cherry on top of this conversation is I truly hope that Hot Toys improves. I hope that they don't just stay status quo, because if they stay status quo, they are going to fall to third pretty quickly. 5 years ago, they were, I still, the reason why we even have a podcast, I've talked about it on 87 episodes, probably 5 or 6 or more times. Like, I still remember that first time opening a Hot Toy figure. It was the Shore Trooper from Rogue One. And it just in complete disbelief of like how much better it was than anything I had ever seen. I'm now getting that feeling with INART, and I want Hot Toys to still be there. So I'm not writing them off completely. But Howard, man, if you're listening,
he is definitely.
He definitely is.
We just haven't agreed to him coming on the show yet, but he's listening.
That's true.
I don't know. Just do better. Do better.
Well, I think they're aware. They don't make the Joker video for no reason. They're aware, and yeah, it should be fun to see.
Oh yeah, I like draw the lines.
Oh yeah.
Question:
Okay,
Do
put it up.
do we think that they'll make an Artisan Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker potential announcement?
It got like literally 2 hours ago. I think I in our private chat, I think I actually mentioned it to you guys. I was like, geez, I wonder what the next Artisan figures are going to be. And I was like, do we get rid of our Lukes now, knowing that might be something there?
Yeah.
Oh man, I gotta mention this. So Gare just brought it up here. Do better or make a Batman Begins figure. Gare,
So
I finally cracked the seal on my Batman Begins figure. Was it yesterday I sent you guys the photos, or was it the day before that? Yeah, I was like, I like Chris. He inspired me because I'm just like, all right, I haven't opened any of these newer things I've got yet. I've just left them sealed. I was like, I got to see what all the fuss is about this figure. From like the neck down, figure's great. What on earth was that cowl and that head sculpt, Gare? I mean, gosh, it was so bad. I don't think I'm even going to keep that figure. I don't want to invest the hundreds of dollars that it would take to make that like shelf worthy. Yeah,
it is. It's an okay figure. But as far as the Artisan line goes, maybe Luke. How about Leia? Leia from I don't know how they do it. A New Hope. That'd be, or
Space
Escape.
Buns.
Yeah, Bespin Leia, whatever. One of the Leias, or Bespin Han out of the gates.
That's the new cyborg. Why is Han Solo?
Right? Oh my god.
They're going to come out with another one, so it'll be fun when they do.
I think it's going to be something they've already done before.
So Luke, I mean, I would say Return of the Jedi Luke is on the table because they're, the Return of the Jedi Vader, looks pretty awesome. Let's see. Who else?
Hoth Luke. No, that he's always wearing his gear, so that wouldn't be one. Yeah.
I mean, I would think it's probably something that is like in high demand now, like price-wise. Because Anakin made sense, because that figure still was, towards the higher end of Star Wars figures, just because they didn't make a whole lot of that because nobody pre-ordered it when it originally came out.
Yeah. Man, it would. I don't know. It doesn't seem like.
That's the thing. They have so many choices. They could. That's why all these figures they're making very low supply. They could reboot their entire brand. They have the horses behind them.
Yeah.
They have the capability and they have the licensing.
Susan's saying Bosch Leia, Bausch, whatever. That would be sick. And then come out with like a carbonite block Han frozen in carbonite.
That might be the closest thing we get to a new Han Solo figure.
I know. But I mean, it's fun thinking about it because we're probably all wrong. And,
yeah, we always are.
There's only going to be 2 Artisan figures per year for the next 10 years or whatever. But I'll be waiting.
More to come, as we always say. All right, we are almost near the 90-minute mark, so we're gonna call it a show here. Like I mentioned at the top, thank you to all the scavengers that dropped rating reviews and written reviews. You guys know who you are. Thank you. On our audio podcast, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Spotify, and scavengers.libsyn.com. If you want to grab that RSS feed and throw it into your podcast catcher of choice. We do have our TeePublic store, 6 Scale Scavengers, any of those phrases. So I've got on the traditional logo here. Chris has got the Dopo for life.
No, we don't have the Nike. We would get kicked off TeePublic.
Yeah. Nikkei.
Yeah.
I guess what all the other YouTubers are saying is like, subscribe, do those things that
Comment.
YouTubers do. Yeah. I actually love going through the comments and stuff. Sometimes we don't get a ton of them, but it is good. I try to respond through our YouTube account here. But anyways, good stuff. Chris, you still doing your other podcast there?
Yeah. I mean, we'll probably be recording in the next couple weeks here. Collecting tracks on the Fantha Tracks podcast network. Me and Richard Hutchinson. I don't know where we'll talk about this time around, but so we'll see. I'll let you guys know.
Good stuff. And TC, thanks for powering through tonight. Feeling a little under the weather. I know you're on the mend, but we certainly appreciate it.
Yeah, it was fun. And on the mends, just may not sound super crisp, but other than that, feeling pretty good.
Well, you still are you're still the eye candy after all these years, so. Oh, good stuff. So we will come back at you in a week or two here, and always fun. And thank you again to all Scavengers for taking the time to watch, to tune in. We say it all the time. People's time is the most valuable commodity that they have, and the fact that you want to spend some of that with us means a lot. So thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, Chris, my friend, bring us home.
Excelsior.